In a world divided, there's one undeniable truth that both the United States and China hold dear: the unparalleled significance of advanced chips. These tiny powerhouses are the unsung heroes behind the devices we rely on every day, from electric cars to TVs, wind turbines to military hardware. They're the lifeblood of our modern world, the life force that drives innovation and progress. In today's landscape, semiconductors have earned a seat at the table of economic power, standing shoulder to shoulder with the once dominant oil industry. The United States, the pioneer of the semiconductor industry, owes a significant part of its victory in the Cold War to this technological marvel. But in a twist of economic fate, and under the visionary leadership of Morris Chang, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, TSMC, now holds the keys to this empire, perched just 100 miles off the Chinese mainland. Today, the U.S. has rallied a coalition aimed at thwarting China's access to the world's most cutting-edge chips and the machinery that creates them. These groundbreaking technologies hail from the US, the UK, the Netherlands, South Korea, and Japan. Astonishingly, even though companies like NVIDIA, NVDA, Apple, APL, and Broadcom, AVGO, design 90% of these advanced chips, it's TSMC's sprawling factory campus on an island that China vigorously claims as its own that churns them out. This is precisely why Beijing doesn't perceive the US-China chip battle as merely detrimental. It views it as something more profound, a challenge to its very sovereignty. The US is apprehensive that China might leverage US chip technology to bolster its military prowess. The Biden administration's endeavor to secure the future of computing was never expected to be straightforward, but it was designed to be unequivocal. A strategy centered on obstructing China's access to a select group of advanced semiconductors while simultaneously enhancing domestic chip capabilities. In August 2022, President Joe Biden enacted the SHIA Peace and Science Act to bolster U.S. advanced chip manufacturing. Just 2 months later, the White House introduced far-reaching export controls crafted to limit China's ability to procure or manufacture the most cutting-edge computer processors. Collectively, these measures aim to position the United States advantageously in the contest for what has rapidly evolved into the world's most significant industry. Semiconductors have been a linchpin of the global economy for years, and China in particular relies on them heavily, with chip imports surpassing oil imports. While microchips of various complexities are ubiquitous in everyday devices, the ultra-advanced chips targeted by Biden's export controls stand out due to their profound impact. These chips are pivotal for advancing cutting-edge supercomputing and artificial intelligence, playing an indispensable role in shaping China's future AI landscape. Their deployment promised significant benefits to China's economy, military technologies, and surveillance systems. The Biden administration's strategy hinged on disrupting China's access to these chips by capitalizing on their concentrated manufacturing in countries aligned with the United States. 1 year after the announcement of export controls, Beijing is adding complexity to Washington's plan. China isn't just persisting with its pursuit of cutting-edge processors, but is also intensifying its competitiveness in both legacy chip manufacturing and chip design. This poses a threat to the United States' reliance on Chinese semiconductors. Moreover, China has initiated measures to restrain the export of critical industry materials like gallium and germanium, which are indispensable for semiconductor production. Given China's response to U.S. restrictions, it is increasingly likely that Washington will have to wage the chip war on 2 fronts: expanding export restrictions for leading-edge chip production, while addressing China's growing advantage in legacy semiconductor manufacturing and chip design. The Biden administration has articulated a strategy known as small yard, high fence to safeguard critical technologies. As National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan put it in October 2022, foundational technology choke points must reside within this yard, which must be well fortified. Deciphering what's confined within this small yard involves translating chipmakers' jargon, particularly the concept of process nodes. These nodes define the chip-building processes, dictating the density at which circuits can be packed on the chips. In broad terms, the smaller the process node, the more potent the chip. A year ago, the Biden administration imposed export controls that clamped down on the sale of equipment and materials required for producing chips with process nodes smaller than 16 nanometers. This essentially curtailed China's access to capabilities for constructing microchips, considered cutting-edge back in 2014. The controls also hindered China from directly acquiring the most advanced chips for supercomputing and AI, so much so that the New York Times characterized them as a declaration of economic war upon China. Since then, China has signaled its determination to thrive without access to the American yard. In August, during a visit by U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, Chinese technology company Huawei unveiled a phone featuring an unexpectedly advanced processor. The improvements in the chip-making process and the sophisticated design capabilities showcased suggest that China may be advancing faster than anticipated. In terms of chip design, Huawei could soon compete with global leaders like Qualcomm. However, this achievement comes with caveats, such as whether China can cost-effectively produce the advanced chip. The processor was made on a 7-nanometer process node, consistent with what China's top chipmaker, SMIC, has been producing since 2022. China's progress in extreme ultraviolet (EUV) lithography technology, which is necessary for process nodes under 5 nanometers, is still uncertain. Despite these challenges, one thing is evident. Chinese companies will persist in attempting to overcome Biden's high fence through any means. They'll strive to replicate the capabilities that lie within, whether by forging indigenous supply chains with state backing, seeking alternative paths to similar capabilities, or illicitly acquiring restricted technology. Huawei, for instance, has indirectly acquired vital chip-making expertise from Taiwanese firms through an underground network of affiliated chipmakers. China's next-generation lithography tool is set to be launched this year, highlighting its reduced dependence on foreign chip-making tools. Chinese companies like YMTC, the country's largest memory chip manufacturer, are making headway in producing advanced semiconductors using domestic equipment. The likely outcome will be an expanding list of components and tools requiring further restrictions from the United States and its allies to prevent China from enhancing its domestic capabilities. The U.S. now faces challenges on 2 chip-making fronts. Beyond cutting-edge semiconductors, China is also competing in legacy chip production, using older technology. These legacy chips, though not as advanced, underpin critical infrastructure, weapon systems, and industrial equipment, including key technologies like 5G communications and electric vehicles. China's dominance in the legacy chip ecosystem could grant them enormous leverage, enabling control over essential systems and potential backdoors for espionage. Policymakers are increasingly aware of these risks, as China already leads in the subset powering smart device connectivity. Chinese subsidies have led to a surge in chip capacity, particularly in legacy manufacturing. SMIC, a major recipient of Chinese state funding, is solidly booked with orders. To address these complex developments, Washington is grappling with the best course of action. The effectiveness of the Xia Peace Act and the Biden administration's export controls remains uncertain, leading some to question the utility of commercial sanctions. On the other hand, there's a temptation to broaden restrictions beyond cutting-edge chips to counter China's dominance in manufacturing legacy chips. However, the intricate nature of the legacy market and its lack of clear choke points makes this approach impractical. It could escalate international market distrust, diminish U.S. leverage over China's tech sector, and spur Chinese players forward. A more prudent strategy involves recognizing that leading-edge manufacturing, legacy manufacturing, and chip design necessitate unique responses. While there are valid reasons to restrict China's access to specific cutting-edge processors, the focus should be on preventing U.S. dependence on Chinese products and maintaining competitiveness in chip design. This small-yard, high-fence approach remains relevant for the most advanced technologies, but it must be continually maintained. Furthermore, the United States should work on reducing China's demand to produce advanced chips, especially for potentially harmful AI applications. This could involve developing hardware mechanisms that restrict chip usage for prohibited purposes, allowing legitimate sales while retaining leverage over advanced semiconductor production and supply. To address the manufacturing of legacy chips, the United States should adopt a different approach. It must ensure it has alternative suppliers in crucial areas, rather than relying solely on China. Collaboration with friendly nations like India and Mexico, which are gaining comparative advantages in production and packaging, should be pursued. The U.S. government should grant the Federal Communications Commission greater authority to inspect foreign components for potential backdoors, and establish a working group within the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to assess critical dependencies on legacy chips. Contrary to concerns about Huawei's capabilities, the small-yard, high-fence approach to Chinese semiconductors remains relevant. However, the United States must address gaps in its strategy while developing new methods to outpace Beijing rapidly.